Well, hello there! It's a new year, it's a new me! I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I'm the Magic the Gathering content creator equivalent of accidentally calling your postman daddy. It can happen. It happens to the best of us. In today's video, I'm going to do five predictions. It's going to be more than five because I fucked up my script. It's going to be 5 predictions for Kaldheim. Kaldheim. People can tell me I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but there is a D in the middle of it. Kaldheim. Look, I'm English, okay? We get to be belligerent with our pronunciations because we're a bunch of cunts and our language is a mess. Previews start in less than a week. We've got like 4 days till previews start as of me recording this. So I thought I'd do a prediction video where I throw out some relatively, I guess they aren't lacking any basis, these predictions or these ideas. So it's not completely baseless speculation, but some ideas, some predictions for what we're going to see in Kaldheim next this week. Oh god, I'm going to get murdered again in the comments for the shitty pronunciation. So here's my top 5 predictions for the Norse mythology set, yes! Prediction number 1. Right, so Kaldheim's going to follow the trends that have been set over the last couple of years. Or I'm going to look at the trends for the last couple of years and predict something about Kaldheim. Now, there has been feedback and criticism on Wizards of the Coast are supposedly listening, but in the other breath telling us that the people who are vocal on the internet don't actually matter. But supposedly they're listening. And things like Omnath and Oko and shit like that did upset people. But the problem is, Kaldheim was finished by the time Zendikar was on store shelves. It was probably getting near to finished by the time Throne was finalised and going onto store shelves. Point is, the feedback that they work upon doesn't get implemented for a couple of years. So there will be, I predict, a multicoloured card or 2, probably in green or blue or maybe a combination of both, that will warp standard and fucking heavily warp older formats too. Now, Oko and Uro, it's fair to say they weren't pushed just for Commander. They were the face cards, right? They were out there because they were on the packaging for the product and they were part of the story and they were getting companies like Forbes to preview them. But Oko was different. Oko was a 4-colour commander. It was the new 4-colour version of a fan favourite legendary creature. And I think it's not much of a trend if there's only one example, but there's probably other examples of this, Golos perhaps as well, of pushing legendary creatures to make them playable in Commander and then heavily affecting other formats like Standard as well. I genuinely think we're going to see a pushed or format warping legendary creature of more than 2 colours. It's going to be at least green or blue or probably both. That's what I predict. Is that a really easy prediction because they tend to just power creep shit? Am I saying that? I guess my prediction is also that Kaldheim hasn't got out of the bubble of we've been criticised for power creeping and we're changing things. It's still within that time frame, I think. But my second prediction! Tibalt as an agent of chaos. In my Kaldheim preview spoiler roundup for the week of Metal, I joked that it would be really fun if Tibalt had a chaos effect on it. An ultimate, or perhaps even a passive ability that did something like Warp World, or Possibility Storm, or Confusion in the Ranks, or something like that. Some eagle-eyed commenters and a couple of people on Twitter did inform me that I had seemingly forgotten about the Mystery Booster playtest card of Tibalt that actually had chaos effects. 3 or 4 of them, I'll show on screen now, as one of the abilities. I think it was the ultimate. So, if they're using Mystery Booster playtest cards to actually test the water for future card development, Tibalt could actually have a chaos effect on it. Now, chaos effects are kind of hated by the casual Magic the Gathering community, but much like Mill, I feel like they aren't acknowledged as being hated by Wizards of the Coast officially. So we often see Mill and Chaos being things that they go back to if they thematically fit with a character, and I'm cool with that. I personally have no problem with Chaos effects or Mill effects existing or being used in Commander. What I think will happen is that Tibalt will have a Chaos effect that scales well into Commander. This was something that Toma pointed out in a video that I don't think will be out before this one is, where we talked about Commander and stuff, and he pointed out how that Planeswalkers are being pushed towards being better for Commander. The most latest Teferi, for example, has an ability to activate in everyone's turns, and the static abilities of the Wall of Sparks, Planeswalkers and stuff like that, their static ability has equity in everyone's turns. So you get an effect that, like, it sort of scales up against multiple players. So I think we'll see that push a bit more, not with every walker, but I think Tibalt might be the fun party time dude, where his passive might just be confusion in the ranks. I fucking hate passives on Planeswalkers, but that would be pretty funny. Precipitation number 3. The World Tree. In Norse mythology, there is a world tree that ties the world together, and it's referenced directly via the visuals and the dialogue in the trailer. I could look up the actual implications of the world tree within actual Norse mythology, but that would be research, and that's not what I do. I just shout about dicks on the internet. Many commenters on my preview video when I talked about the world tree or referenced it, they all said 5-color mythic artifact or an enchantment. Now, it probably will end up being that, but I think my prediction is snarkier and throws more shade at Wizards of the Coast, so I'm going to go with that. I think it's probably going to be some sort of green mythic. It might splash another colour, a green mythic artifact enchantment or both, and it's going to be a fucking paragraph, an entire page from a Russian tragedy. Think Questing Beast and Great Henge, and they just scissor the fuck out of each other, and out plops a mythical world tree. That's what I'm thinking. What I would prefer to see is it as a shrine. Now hear me out. We had shrines in Kamigawa, and then we finally saw them return in M21. And what I would like to see is that the shrine subtype or the archetype was be expanded upon. Maybe just the occasional one-off shrine being printed into sets where there's religion or deities and shit playing a big part. It would be cool to expand them. And I mean, the shrines in those sets don't need to reference shrines themselves, although they could because they are a shrine. So it's not really touching on the evergreen mechanic. They could just be a relatively okay enchantment or artifact, but probably an enchantment would make more sense. And just a shrine subtext that it actually counts towards your shrine count with the ones that care about shrines, but it's just an incidental shrine. I think that'd be really cool. But also, I'm not a game designer. I just shout about dicks on the internet. Dicks! What might happen though with world trees that, well, it's probably alive like the Tree of Redemption or Trepidation or whatever the fuck they were called, and it's going to be a 5-color legendary tree, because every set needs a Golos or a Kenneth. Because how would people survive if they weren't bombarded with every other set having a Tazri Light character in it, so you can play another fucking 5-color commander deck? Space Precinct number 4, it's going to be heavy tribal. We have a birthing pod that references tribes. We have an elf tribal planeswalker. We haven't seen the card yet, but the article talking about him mentioned how he's very much an elf and part of elf society, and he's an elf. Changeling is on the Biobox promo, and Tibalt explicitly mentions dwarves, Vikings, Valkyries and elves, I think it is, in the trailer. We're talking about the peoples of Kaldheim. My guess is going to be for tribes in this set. I think it's going to be really heavily tribal focused. One of the most tribal focused blocks since, I don't know, Shadows over Innistrad. The last tribal block, I think it was, where humans mattered and stuff like that. We're going to have Berserkers for Vikings. We're going to have Angels for Valkyries. Then we're going to have Dwarves. We're going to have... What did I write on my fucking notes here? Dwarves, Giants, Wolves... Maybe some more squirrels, because there's a legendary squirrel. I was actually kind of, whilst writing this, I was struggling to figure out what the tribes for the black part of the colour pie could be. And then I realised there is that angel that was revealed. It's got the likeness of Nissa Cosplay, which is awesome. Nissa Cosplay is a lovely human being. And to also have their likeness, or anyone's likeness, on a magic card, I can't imagine how hype that is for her. But this angel berserker was called Cleaving Reaper. I think it's from a commander deck or one of the set books. It's not in the main set, but it is a Angel Berserker. It's a Black Angel. We've had Black Angels before with Fallen Angel, and recently with the completion of the sisters, the Averson's baby girls, with the black-white one in Commander Legends. But this one might suggest that we're going to have a lot of Black Angels in Kaldheim, because they are Valkyries. They are the things that take people to the afterlife, right? So it makes sense that they're white, black, and combinations of both. I do hope we get more squirrels. We've got a legendary squirrel commander in the set, which is cool, and I like Rosewater's obsession with squirrels. I like squirrels in Magic. I think the game could do with having more comic relief elements to it. I like old school goblins, and I think squirrels could fulfill that for Kaldheim. So I kind of hope there are more squirrels. That said, elves and wolves and squirrels all fit into green. That's 3 different tribes in green. That's probably too many. All of that, though, for that prediction feels free. It feels safe. That prediction is easy because Changeling itself just suggests it's going to be heavily tribal. Because what Changeling allows you to do is have, for standard and for draft, cards that fit into all the tribes, and therefore, they pull double duty and they fill up holes in archetypes and allow you to draft your decks a little easier and stuff like that. Changeling all but confirms a tribal block. So here is prediction 4.5. We will get a white card that is meant to set the world alight and placate EDH players. and the community will reject it regardless of how actually good it is. And it'll also be overshadowed by another green or blue rare, but probably a mythic in the set anyway, that does the same thing but better, or does things that white's meant to do but better. I think that's probably too safe as well. That's going to happen, isn't it? I don't make the rules. And lastly, absolutely baseless speculation number 5. Okay. I'm going to talk about a spoiler of the story here. I'm going to allude to, but not show, a leaked magic card. Don't forget, if you show the leaked magic card, I don't even talk about them really, I mentioned by name, the MTG Twitter police will cancel you. So I'm already treading on thin ground doing this. But I just want you to know, if you are avoiding all leaks and all spoiler leaks and previews and all that sort of stuff ahead of official previews, then I would turn this video off now. Go into the cards, go and watch one of my other videos, please. Please. But turn off now. You gone? Okay. The Phyrexians are coming. I can't show it on screen right now because I'm still conflicted myself about leaks, and maybe this is a video I need to do where we talk about the nature of leaks in general. But there was a leaked card that has not been confirmed, so it's kind of might still be a fake, which showed one of the Praetors on Kaldheim, which means they're getting invaded. Now this is, it's good and bad. On the bad side, first it's a leak and no one's trying to talk about it on Twitter, although half the community talk about it on Reddit, so we've got this thing where like we can't actually converse about Magic, and I really like talking about Magic. It's why I make this channel. The second bad thing is that bringing in the Phyrexians into Kaldheim might not give the Kaldheim environment itself enough room to breathe. We want world building, we want heroes and villains coming out of this plane, this set. And Phyrexians will take up a big chunk of that, right? They will be the nemesis, the enemy, unless it's like a small invasion force. But that said, the more I thought about it, I don't know if that's such a big problem, as every set has this issue with planeswalkers, right? Like, the lead of Theros was not a Therosian, like, Greek hero type. It was Elspeth, although I guess archetypally they were a Greek hero type, but it was Elspeth. And the villain was a planeswalker, although it was a native planeswalker. Here we have the villain being Tybalt, who is native, as far as I understand it, to Innistrad. So the Planeswalkers already do this thing where they take away from a bit of the world building unless they're native, like the Kenriths were to Throne of Eldraine, which I think is the best set for not having this problem of having its world taken over by other elements of the Magic storyline and canon. That said, I am fucking hyped for the return of Phyrexians. I love Phyrexians. I love me some MTG fantasy Borg type villain thing. They remind me of playing Magic when I was a kid. I didn't really understand what they were, but I was encapsulated. Was that what I'm looking for? I was enticed. I loved all the art of all these black cards, all the Nightstalkers. Well, I know not Phyrexian, but Nightstalkers and Phyrexians really captured my imagination. Having them be an interplanar threat invading different planes, that is some fucking hype. I am hyped for that. So, if it comes out as true, I'm happy with it. If it doesn't, I'm not too unhappy. It'll happen eventually, right? But yeah, I wanted to do that prediction, like sort of like, oh, I wonder why I predicted that. But then I was like, that's just going to make people Google it who might not want to Google it. So, there you go. If you're still watching, then I assume you don't really give a shit whether it's leaked or not. So what do you think? Are my predictions completely off base? Are they too safe? Should I be doing more outlandish ones? Should I be like going fucking... Are these too normal? Are these too easy? Tell me in the comment section below. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe down below. Only about 60% of my viewership is subscribed, so 40% of you watching this video haven't even clicked the subscribe button. I need to get to 100k, so my PP can feel good. Don't know where I was going with that one. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment down below, let me know what you think and what your predictions are, and I'll see you in the week for some more gameplay and some more spoiler videos and some more EDH talk. I'll see you soon. Ta-ta for now.